Angry Birds Bounce is a puzzle game released on the 3rd of July this year. It was exclusive to the Apple Arcade subscription service along with Angry Birds Reloaded. First, let's go over some history. On November of 2023, Rovio and Sega announced at RovioCon Google they would be developing games for platforms like Apple Arcade and Netflix. RovioCon Google is an annual event hosted by Rovio and Google that focuses on the future of gaming or some shit. Anyway, at some point in the event, they mentioned making games for Apple and Netflix. On May 30th, a splash screen of the game titled, yeah, I'm not reading that, was accidentally posted on the Angry Birds website and the Archive Games page. Some speculated this would have been a slingshot game that uses the classic designs. People also found some potential titles in the file names, like Angry Birds Oceans or Angry Birds Bounce, which is also the name of an Angry Birds interactive McDonald's game. A week later, on June 5th, the game would be announced officially, with a release date of July 3rd. The game advertised itself as a brick breaker, similar to Bouncely, where you have to launch a bird at a group of pigs in a gridded level. People were a little disappointed at the fact it was another generic puzzle game. But people were pleased with the art style and the fact you could play as Joe and Ruby, as well as a new flock member named Gordon. Later that same month, on the 17th, Rovio posted a Q&A about Angry Birds Bounce and the questions and concerns regarding it. The first thing they addressed was the reception of Gordon. They mentioned all the art made for him and how fans loved him. They even said they loved designing the guy. The second thing they addressed was Terrence and Hal not being in the game. They said they tried to implement them into the game, but found their shape larger than the standard ball. The third thing they answered was an image of the movie design for Silver being used in a screenshot. They said it was a mistake on their end and apologized for it. They would later fix it. Not really sure why the movie version of Silver was being used. I guess maybe at one point they wanted this game to take place in the same universe as Reloaded. The fourth thing they addressed was how people were comparing this to a puzzle game. They said this was not a puzzle game, but was instead a brick breaker that shares many traits with classic Angry Birds. The final thing they addressed in this Q&A wasn't really like an answer to anything, but was instead the developers introducing the game's elements and giving us some insight on the bird's abilities. Even almost disclosing Joe's ability. Anyway, that was everything in the Q&A. So Angry Birds Bounce is now on the Apple App Store. Let's summarize the game. So after the game is done loading, a cutscene plays of the pigs ruining the bird's vacation. Red sees this, and, well, obviously, yeah, he's angry, and he attacks the pigs. The pigs notice Red is launching at them, so they prepare for battle, and, the cutscene ends. It's bird-pig fight. Yeah. You're then thrown into the game. Red teaches you how the game works. You have to pull back the slingshot and launch at the pigs to destroy them. After each turn, the pigs approach closer, and if you don't defeat them in time, they can inflict damage upon your slingshot. Once this meter appears filled up, you can choose birds to be a part of your flock. They have unique abilities, like for example, Matilda has a chance of summoning an egg that bounces around the grid. First island done. Second island has 3 levels. Every bird in this game has an ultimate ability that charges up when pigs are hit. When the special ability is activated, the birds actually do some pretty cool stuff. Like for example, Red summons multiple copies of himself and bounces all over the grid. Charms are obtained after battles or through these mini-game levels. We'll get to these later. After 2 levels, our first boss is King Pig. They actually use the classic design for him, which is base. He's a pretty easy boss battle. The next isle uses the beach environment, just like the last. But this time, Chef Pig is the boss. Cool. We're introduced to talents. Talents buff your flock, and you can upgrade them to make your bird stronger. The next island is Snow. Yeah, that's the theme, Snow. The environment looks alright. I also think the theme sounds pretty cool. The first level's kind of nothing. It's the same basic stuff we've been doing since the first isle. Just launch birds at pigs. This isle introduces us to these short mini-games that can give us all sorts of stuff like coins, charms, and even more health. Four-Man Pig is the boss for this isle. He's the exact same as the first two bosses, so he's pretty easy. Our next location has acquired a desert theme. I think the cardboard cutouts of these buildings look pretty cool. I especially like how during certain birds' special attacks, they just wobble back and forth. There's nothing really too important with these levels aside from the new location. The theme for the next isle is a cave. The map looks alright. We fight Corporal Pig. Corporal Pig actually does something very interesting here. He can summon either 1 or 2 shields that can block your birds. I actually like this. Add some challenge to the game. The next and final location is a temple area. It looks alright. I like the idea of the pigs graffitiing the area. The newest boss is the Minion Pig. This pig wears a sweatband, and sometimes you won't go up against one minion pig. Certain isles have you facing 2 minion pigs. I actually find that kind of cool. Alright, that's basically the whole game. There's not really much else to talk about. Oh wait. Now, who is Gordon? Well, Gordon is a Canadian Blue Jay, and is based off a bunch of Canadian people named Gordon or some shit. I don't know. Blue Jimmy said it, so it must be true. There was a comic released for Angry Birds Bounce, and it gave us some Gordon lore. He's a survivalist with a mind for strategy. He thinks he's the Blue's uncle. He's friends with a cockroach named and apparently he's been living in a bunker underground due to a purple storm. And he may have gotten hit by lightning by that same storm. So he's a pretty interesting character. In game, he can drill through pigs and electrify them, making the pigs take extra damage. The electricity aspect must be because of the storm he was hit by. So I guess him getting hit by lightning gave him electric powers. His special lets him release a shockwave that electrifies every pig and pushes them back, even defeating some that reach the back wall. Gordon has the best ability in my opinion because it moves pigs farther from you, and it could kill them. One more thing before I end off this segment, just take a listen to his voice. He sounds like such a fucking tough guy.
Don't talk to people who you don't know. I'll talk to whoever the fuck I want to know.
Never mind.
How's that, pal?
Never mind, I did tell him not to talk to you.
That's right, so use your fucking head if you know how.
Speaking of using your head, this guy's head looks like it was used to model the thwomps in Super Mario 64.
Great character, let's move on. Is Angry Birds Bounce a bad game? No. The only thing I think holds this game down is the fact that it's an Apple Arcade exclusive, but I still thought the game was alright. The art style is pleasing, the soundtrack is good. To be honest, this game did attempt to redeem itself from the factor of being an Apple exclusive. Shout out to Cool Oliver Bird, they do some cool Angry Birds stuff, like some little shit posts, and there's like some Angry Birds Star Wars videos. Yeah, they're a pretty interesting channel, I would recommend checking them out. They even made some fan art of me with some other creators, so yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyways, I'm gonna go to sleep.